I came to Corvallis to start practice at the Corvallis Clinic in 1973. And I'd been here for about a week and barely getting settled when Craig Lehman, who was one of my mentors and one of the reasons why I came to Corvallis in the first place, came into my office and said, "What are you doing tonight?" And I didn't quite know what he was asking, but it was going to be my day off. It was Wednesday. I had Wednesday evenings free. And he said, I want to take you down to Sunflower House where there's a free medical clinic, and I think you can see some folks down there and you see what all the things that are happening at Sunflower House. And we saw a variety of patients, some with serious problems, some with not so serious problems, but it was a place where folks could feel comfortable getting medical attention and talking about what problems they perceived in their lives. Some of the folks would feel very uncomfortable going to the Corvallis Clinic or going to a doctor's office, but felt very much at home at Sunflower House. It was a second home for a number of folks. And that started my relationship with community outreach. It wasn't called community outreach then, it was called Sunflower House. And so for the next, 25 years, I've been going to Sunflower House and community outreach as a volunteer physician. Usually back in those days it would be once a month or rarely twice a month, but it wasn't a huge burden on me, but it was something I found very satisfying. No, I did not expect, I didn't know what to expect, and I didn't know that that would introduce me to a bunch of people that led me ultimately to join the board of directors, and after a number of years to be a president of the board. So that has been an important part of my life. I feel very good about the relationship between the Corvallis Clinic, where I was employed as a physician for almost 30 years, and community outreach. And when community outreach was in its fund drive and I was on the board at the time, we were able to convince the Corvallis Clinic that it was in not only the community's interest and community outreach interest, but in the interest of the Corvallis Clinic and the hospital to have a safety valve clinic, and that's what the medical clinic was. So the Corvallis Clinic actually, after much cajoling and arm twisting, came up with a commitment of $150,000 toward the building and toward the operation of the clinic. And then we also agreed that over the first few years in the new building that the Corvallis Clinic would provide $50,000 worth of services. So they were professional services, nurses, physicians, laboratory services, x-ray services, all to help build that program and build the legacy of that relationship between the Corvallis Clinic and community outreach. And I think it's a relationship that has continued over the years as a number of physicians who have practiced at the Corvallis Clinic have served on the board of directors and have served as president of the board. If someone has an illness, and whether it's an acute illness or more likely a chronic illness that is being neglected because of lack of insurance, because of inadequate access to care for one reason or another, it only is going to lead to more problems down the road. And to the extent that a minor problem gets identified and treated and corrected before it becomes a serious problem, then we have saved not only the individual, and that is obviously an important goal, but we have taken some pressure off the system to take care of someone that might come in a month later or 2 months later with a much more serious problem. And I think we have obligations to be good stewards of resources. And just because something is covered by insurance and will get paid for doesn't mean that it makes sense to treat people that way. So it's really a very interesting experience. It's one that I value, and I look back and I think of the physicians that were working and the nurses that volunteered and the people that were involved, and I think very highly of their dedication and skill and willingness. So I look back very fondly of those years. And it has developed over the years into a much more sophisticated clinic predominantly for the disenfranchised, but for people who just feel uncomfortable in the more formal medical settings.